Hey everyone, it's Caitlin and welcome to another video. This video is going to be a little bit of a breakfast chat, so if you want to grab your own breakfast or maybe even your lunch or dinner or just an afternoon snack and hang out with me while we talk about things, go ahead and do that right now. And now we're just gonna get started. So for me, I'm having breakfast. I just woke up, did some yoga and my normal morning routine, and then I whipped up this bowl of a pumpkin pie oatmeal. I actually posted the recipe for this in my most recent What I Eat in a Day video. It's super delicious and you guys should definitely check it out. The pumpkin makes it super creamy, and I love how you can put the turmeric in there and it doesn't turn oats like too neon yellow because like the orange from the pumpkin is already there. So yeah, I did top it a little differently this time. I used some cranberries, some raw buckwheat groats or bikinis, and then I used some toasted coconut and molasses because I find this is a really easy way to get my tablespoon of molasses in for the day. And molasses technically is a sugar, so it makes your oats sweeter too, and you don't have to use like coconut sugar or anything. So it's a 2 for 1. But also I feel like a lot of people ask me how I get my oats to be so creamy. So if you look at that recipe, I actually use 2.5 cups of oats to 1 cup of water. And it takes longer for your oats to cook, but I think it makes them so much more creamy because you are cooking them for a little bit longer. And my other tip would be to stir your oatmeal. I think the more you stir it, I don't know, the oats just sort of like release their creaminess. But the main point of this video, I didn't really just want to talk about how I made my breakfast, although that may interest some of you. I've been thinking about how I want to like reach out to you guys more and sort of have more authentic conversations, because I like filming What I Eat in a Day videos and recipe videos, but I also like talking to you guys and, you know, sharing more of myself with you on like a sort of deeper level. But I also find just sort of filming talking videos where I'm just sitting in front of the camera and not doing anything kind of seems like not rehearsed, but I just feel like it's less authentic, and I feel like more pressure to have a script and stuff. And I don't know, recently I've been thinking about a lot of things and I kind of want to share them with you guys and get your opinions on it too, because I do like to interact with you. So I thought this would sort of be like a really good way to sort of share what's on my mind with you guys in a more casual setting. So this was my first time doing it, but we'll see how it goes, and if I like it, it might become a regular thing on this channel. I guess it's a mukbang, but like, could we make it a little classier and call it like a mindfulness mukbang? Because that's the topic for today. Haha. But yeah, so today I did want to talk about mindfulness. And not like, I don't know, in the sense of just, oh, this is my mindfulness routine. But I wanted to like bring up the question to you guys, is do you blah blah blah. I can't talk, but I guess I'll keep this in because it's a mukbang. Okay, so the question that I've been thinking about recently is mindfulness a privilege? And I kind of think that it is, and I wanted to explain myself a little bit. So as you guys know, I'm definitely all about mindfulness, and I think that having a mindfulness routine, either through yoga or meditating or just being more grounded and aware and present during your day, is like really important and definitely essential to your mental health. That was really cute. But yeah, like ever since I started incorporating a mindfulness routine into my life, I found myself so much more grateful in the present moment. I feel like I'm more happier and I'm more appreciative of all the positive things that happen to me. And not only that, I'm just more inclined to notice when something positive happens to me. So like even if I'm having a bad day but a stranger smiles at me, I now realize like, hey, that guy smiled at me. That's something that I should be grateful for. Versus I would just be like, what is that dude doing? And I would kind of ignore it. So I'm like more able to look for the positive points in my life as well. But if you guys watched my last favorites video that I will have posted, I guess 2 days before this, I did talk a little about how this past month was a lot harder for me, and I felt a lot more stressed with school and just like kind of struggling to keep up with both social media and my schoolwork. And I think my mindfulness definitely suffered, and that kind of caused me to think about it more. So as you guys know, like my normal mindfulness routine, I like to do yoga every day, and I would meditate some, and I would write in my journal, and I would just try to be more, you know, grounded and present throughout the day, like mindfulness. But I've noticed like this past month, it wasn't even intentional at all, but I basically stopped meditating, which I wasn't really happy about. Or if I did, it would be like once every other week. And I would genuinely forget to journal. Like I usually journal every single morning and every single night. And it's called the 5-minute journal. I don't know if you guys have heard about it. I've mentioned it before on here. But it's not like it takes a long time. And it's really fast. In the morning, you just write down 3 things you're grateful for and a few other things. And then at night, you write down 3 awesome things that happened for that day. But there was a span of like 1 week when I was super stressed out with school and I had a bunch of exams. I didn't have any YouTube videos pre-recorded and I was struggling to get those up, and I was like almost forgetting to even open Instagram and post a picture on it. And I genuinely forgot to journal. And didn't even realize it until like a few days when I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't even been journaling. So it's not like it was a conscious effort. And yeah, I don't know, it kind of made me upset, but then I realized like I didn't do it on purpose, so there's no point in being upset about it. But it caused me to sort of think about it, because I don't know if you guys have heard of the philosophy or other people talking about, I'm not exactly sure, but like everyone has basic needs, and it's sort of like a pyramid. And I think this goes with like the philosophy of the chakras too. So at the bottom of the pyramid, what? You have your basic needs like food, water, shelter, and stuff. And so you can't move further up the pyramid and reach higher things like friendship, social interaction, or enlightenment, which I guess would be at the top, until you have the bottom like basic tasks. And I definitely found that to be true with mindfulness. It's not even like, I don't know where I was going with that sentence. But if you think about it, a lot of YouTubers do preach mindfulness, and they are people who don't typically have a constant 9-to-5 job, so they have more free time in their life, and it's a lot easier to practice mindfulness when I am on vacation and when I have more free time and when I don't have as many activities, versus when I'm waking up at 5:30 a.m. just to get in a yoga class and a quick shower to rush to school, to be at school from 8 a.m. to 4:15 p.m. some days. And then I get home and I'm just so tired and I want to cook my dinner, and you just kind of forget to stay grounded. And I don't think that's necessarily a good thing, but I just think it's something that kind of happens. So I'm curious to see if you guys have had a similar experience as well or not. And I will admit, like, I'm not saying that I don't lead a privileged life. Like, I'm very happy for my apartment, for my education, for the ability to feed myself and everything. So, objectively speaking, I am higher up on the pyramid, but even with me, like, I got busy and I forgot. And then if you think about it from like an even more extreme standpoint, like there are people who are homeless, or there are people who live in third world countries who are honestly so concerned about if they're going to be eating breakfast the next day, or if they're going to have enough money to buy food to feed their children, not even feed themselves. And do you really think that mindfulness and enlightenment is the first thing that's on their minds? I would say that it's probably not. So yeah, when I thought about that, I kind of thought of it as another reason why I should be grateful for everything that I have, because while I do think mindfulness is important, if I was in that situation, or if I was in a less fortunate situation or whatever, I wouldn't even have time for mindfulness, or maybe you weren't even exposed to mindfulness. Maybe no one ever talked to you about it. Like maybe you don't have internet, you didn't watch YouTube, you didn't read a book, things like that. And I think that those are some things that we kind of take for granted, especially for us, or if you've grown up in a life of privilege and it's like all you've ever known. It's just kind of normal to you. But if you think about someone who, I don't know, grew up in like a favela in Brazil, or like Avija in Argentina. I'm just thinking of those because I did study abroad in South America. But those people like live in houses that aren't even real legal houses. They're just constructed of like cardboard or plastic, and sometimes they don't have electricity or running water, so they definitely don't have internet. And I don't know, I hope my point is trying to get across, but basically what I want to say is like, if you have the opportunity to practice mindfulness, that's awesome. But I think we should all sort of take it a step further and like realize how blessed we are to even have that opportunity. I just noticed that I'm eating so much slower because I have to talk to you guys at the same time. This is probably really great for my digestion, because I don't know if you watched my banana ice cream video, but I eat pretty fast. But I mean, I think that's basically like everything that I wanted to cover about mindfulness. But I kind of want to hear your opinion on it. Like, do you think mindfulness is a privilege? Like, do you think mindfulness is a privilege? Do you think that, you know, because you are more well off in a situation, you are more likely to be mindful? But also, I will play devil's advocate for myself here. I feel like on the converse, there are some people who have like almost nothing, yet they are some of the most mindful and grateful and appreciative people ever. And like, if you look, I don't know, I think of like Mother Teresa. She didn't have very much, but like she is, I aspire to be like her, like just giving of yourself and helping other people. And I'm not saying all the time you encounter homeless people on the street who are like super mindful and they're like practicing yoga on the side of the road, but you do come across some people who are just happy to be alive. And you know, if you acknowledge them or give them $1 or even just stop to talk to them, they are really appreciative of it, and they genuinely tell you to have a great day and they smile at you. And you think like, okay, I have so much and yet I got busy and I forgot to be mindful. And then these people have like nothing, but maybe they are more appreciative of their ability to be mindful and sort of distract themselves from the physical reality that we live in. So I feel like those two things are conflicting. Like, do you personally think social class has a role in your ability to be mindful? Or what do you think causes those people who do have nothing to still be able to be mindful even though they can't satisfy like their basic needs? I definitely think it depends on the person, obviously, and like the situation that you're raised in. But two people could be raised in the exact same situation and respond to it completely differently. Like, there are some people who rise above their challenges and are able to succeed in life, or just able to be genuinely happy. And then I feel like there are other people who are sort of just trapped in that spot, and they feel really stuck and they are not as happy or appreciative of the life that they're given. So I don't really know exactly what has to do with that. I'm not a psychologist, and I feel like brain chemistry and like luck, some people are more blessed and have more positive situations and things happen to them than others. But it's still something to consider, you know? I don't know. Deep Thoughts with Caitlin. On the topic of mindfulness, you guys should tell me what you guys like to do to be mindful, because I feel like you could also be mindful in a bunch of different ways. Like, you don't have to practice yoga to be mindful. I just find that that's really easy for me, and I am really mindful throughout my practice. And there are also like a million different ways of, not a million, of meditation. Like, you could sit there silently, you could practice saying mantras, or you could journal. I mean, I think even listening to music could help you practice mindfulness if it keeps you grounded. And I know, like, some people, exercise in general helps them be mindful. Like, some people really find running to be meditative, or going for a long bike ride and just being like out there in silence with yourself in nature, although that's not very attainable in Miami, but like in other areas of the world. So yeah, I'm curious as to how you guys practice mindfulness. And maybe I'll get some cool tips and incorporate them. But speaking of which, to like retrovert back to my point when I kind of just like forgot about journaling and I wasn't as mindful and whatever, I do want to say I have gotten better, but things have slowed down with school. And once things slow down, I found it so much easier to incorporate my mindfulness routines back into my life. But at the same time, I don't really want this to happen again, where I get so stressed out that I forget to take care of myself, because I feel like taking care of yourself is obviously one of the most important things. You only have one body, you only have one life, so you might as well make the most of it. And, you know, don't compromise your health for school. Like, don't stay up until 4 a.m. every night, or like consistently pull all-nighters just because you feel like you need to get an A in the class. Like, I did that a little in high school, and I just feel like that was so damaging, not only to my health but to my mental health as well. And like, the pressure of school or career can be hard sometimes, and I think that's why it's important to make sure you still stick to your mindfulness routine and you don't forget to continue to be mindful, because that's what's actually going to help you get through a tough situation and remain grateful even in the face of adversity. In case you're wondering, my oats are still warm and they're still pretty good. The coconut was a good choice. It like adds an extra crunch. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but I'm a big fan of incorporating different textures into my food. Like, I love the creaminess and the softness of oats, but at the same time, I don't really ever want to eat something that's just like one texture. So I'll put like raw buckwheat in it for a crunch, or I'll add some cranberries for a nice pop, or like a burst of tartness, or even when I eat banana ice cream. Like, I like it, but I could never just eat it plain. Like, I always put some buckwheat or granola on it, because I really like to be able to chew my food and to have that crunch, you know. That was an interesting segue from talking about mindfulness. But I don't know, guys. I guess food is just always on my mind. Problems of a food blogger. But I'm like almost on my oats, and I'm running out of things to talk about. And I feel like I did say everything that I wanted to in this conversation. And I feel like this video is about long enough where you could have a meal and sit down and chat with me. So I think I'm just gonna end it here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and sort of a more like informal talk. I really do want to start filming these more, because I just feel like it's a really great way to reach you guys and interact with you, and maybe talk about things that like I normally wouldn't include in another video. So yep, I'm gonna finish my bowl. See, almost gone. And I will talk to you guys later and see you in the next video. I'm excited to interact with you guys in the comments, so be sure to leave a comment because I want to know your opinions on this topic. And yeah, I think that's it. Bye.